Ladies and gentlemen, imagine standing at the edge of a vast battlefield, weary from the struggles you've endured. You have fought with all your strength, given your best effort, and yet victory seems distant. The world tells you that success is measured by immediate results, that if you do not see progress now, your labor is wasted. But what if that is not true? What if every unseen effort, every silent sacrifice, and every moment of perseverance is building something greater than you can yet perceive? There is a voice deep within that whispers doubt. Is it worth it? Does anyone see? Will this struggle ever lead to something meaningful? The truth is, God sees every effort, every tear, and every unseen act of faithfulness. He is not absent in your trials, nor is he indifferent to your perseverance. The victories of life are not always instant, nor are they always visible. Some of the greatest triumphs begin in seasons of waiting, in the quiet trust that even when you do not see progress, God is still at work. So before you grow weary, before you consider giving up, remember this: what is done in faith is never in vain. Your journey has a purpose, your efforts have meaning, and your victory, though unseen for now, is already written. When we labor with all our might, pouring our hearts into our work, it is natural to expect a visible outcome. We look for signs that our efforts are making a difference, that the path we walk is leading somewhere meaningful. And yet, often the world offers silence in return. We strive for goodness, for truth, for excellence, and still, the fruits of our labor seem hidden. This can lead to discouragement, even doubt. Doubt in ourselves, in the fairness of life, and sometimes even in God. But if we believe that God sees beyond immediate outcomes, then we must also believe that our efforts are not in vain, even when they do not yield the results we desire in the moment. The human perspective is limited to the present moment, to what is visible and measurable. We see failure when our goals are not met. We see loss when doors close before us. Yet, from God's perspective, every act of righteousness, every moment of perseverance is accounted for. He is not bound by our timeline, nor does he measure success as the world does. A person who sows a seed does not immediately see a tree. The work of planting, watering, and waiting must happen before the harvest is revealed. Similarly, God is often working in ways unseen, orchestrating events, preparing hearts, and shaping circumstances that we cannot yet comprehend. The silence of today does not mean absence. The lack of visible results does not mean failure. Every step taken in faith, every good deed done in secret, every effort made with sincerity is noticed by the one who sees all. It is easy to trust in visible progress, but faith requires trusting even when progress is hidden. Some of the greatest achievements in history were born from years of unseen toil, from relentless persistence in the face of apparent failure. Many of those who changed the world did so without knowing the full extent of their impact. A teacher who nurtures a student, a writer who pens words of wisdom, a parent who instills values in a child. All may never see the final result of their efforts, but their work is never wasted. God's justice does not operate on human schedules. We may desire immediate confirmation that we are on the right path, but God's plans unfold in perfect timing. The lesson is not just about patience, but about trust. Trust that every sacrifice, every moment of integrity, every struggle endured with faith is being woven into a greater story. There will be times when we feel unseen, unappreciated, or even forgotten. But God's sight is sharper than ours, and his rewards are greater than what we seek in the moment. In the end, the work done in truth and love is never lost. Even if the world does not acknowledge it, God does. He sees beyond the immediate and ensures that nothing good is ever wasted. What may seem like an unnoticed effort today is simply a seed waiting for its appointed season to bloom. Faith is not an emotion. It is a conviction, a decision to trust even when feelings waver. Too often, people believe that faith should always feel strong, that they should always sense certainty and peace. But this is not how faith works. Feelings are fleeting, unpredictable, and easily swayed by circumstances. They rise and fall like waves in the ocean, shifting with every storm that passes. If we rely on feelings to sustain our faith, we will find ourselves in constant turmoil, questioning and doubting at every turn. True faith is deeper than emotion. It is a choice to believe, even when the heart is uncertain. It is the steady grip on truth when everything else seems unstable. There will be days when faith feels effortless, when hope is bright and unwavering. But there will also be days when faith feels like a struggle, when doubts creep in, when the world seems too dark to see the light. In those moments, the measure of true faith is not found in how strongly we feel, but in how steadfastly we hold on. Faith is tested in silence, in waiting, in the moments when answers do not come immediately. Many people mistake this silence for abandonment, believing that if God does not respond in the way they expect, then He must not be listening. But silence is not absence. It is often in these quiet, uncertain moments that faith is refined. It is easy to believe when life is going well, but real trust is proven when life is difficult. Doubt is not the enemy of faith, rather it is the very thing that deepens it. A faith that has never been tested, never questioned, never wrestled with, remains shallow, but faith that endures uncertainty, that fights through seasons of doubt, grows stronger. When we choose to trust in God's goodness, even when we do not feel it, we demonstrate a faith that is real, not dependent on momentary emotions, but grounded in truth. Life will bring trials that shake our confidence, moments when we wonder if our prayers are heard, if our struggles have meaning, if our journey is leading anywhere. In those moments, feelings may tell us that we are alone, that God is distant, that hope is foolish. But faith reminds us that feelings are not the final word. Faith clings to the promises of God, not the shifting emotions of the human heart. The strength of faith is not in how intensely we feel it, but in how persistently we choose it. A flickering candle in the darkness is still light. A whispered prayer in doubt is still faith. A step forward, even with trembling hands, is still trust. We must learn to walk by faith, not by sight, to trust in the unseen rather than the immediate, to hold on to God's truth even when feelings fade, because in the end, faith that endures through uncertainty is the faith that truly triumphs. Victory is often misunderstood. The world defines it by success, recognition, and visible achievement. It is measured in wealth, power, and status. If one wins the race, secures the position, or gains the approval of others, they are seen as victorious. But this is a shallow definition, one that overlooks the deeper reality of what it means to truly win. There is a greater victory, one that is not dependent on outward circumstances, but on the steadfastness of character, the endurance of the soul, and the unwavering commitment to righteousness. The true measure of victory is not found in external rewards, but in the integrity with which one walks through life. A person who compromises their values to gain success has not truly won, even if the world applauds them. A person who remains honest, even at great cost, has not lost, even if they are overlooked or forgotten. The battle of life is not just about achieving goals, but about remaining faithful to what is right, even when the journey is difficult. History is filled with examples of those who seem to have lost, but in truth were victorious. Prophets, saints, and great thinkers have often faced persecution, rejection, and hardship. They were ridiculed, cast out, or even put to death. Yet their legacy endures because they stood firm in truth. They did not surrender their principles for temporary ease. They understood that real victory is not about escaping suffering, but about remaining steadfast despite it. Endurance in the face of opposition is one of the greatest marks of true victory. The one who stands firm when the world pushes against them is already victorious. They may not have wealth, influence, or comfort, but they possess something greater, an unshaken spirit. To fight for what is right, even when it costs something, is to win in the highest sense. It is easy to succeed when the path is smooth, but to hold on to faith when everything is falling apart, that is the triumph of the soul. Many people seek victory in the wrong places. They believe they have won when they achieve a title, secure a fortune, or gain the admiration of others. But such victories fade. Wealth is lost, positions change, and the praise of men is fleeting. However, the person who has kept their heart pure, their conscience clear, and their soul anchored in truth has won something that cannot be taken away. Their victory is eternal. God does not measure success as the world does. He does not count victories in trophies or riches, but in perseverance, faithfulness, and the quiet strength to do what is right. A life lived in truth is a life victorious, no matter what outward circumstances may suggest. To remain steadfast in goodness, to uphold righteousness even when it is difficult, to walk with integrity even when no one is watching. This is the true measure of victory. And in the end, such a life is never in vain, for it is honored by the one who sees all. Endurance is one of the greatest tests of faith. It is easy to remain hopeful when things are going well, but true character is revealed in times of difficulty. Hardship is not a sign of failure or abandonment, but a process through which we are refined. Just as fire purifies gold and pressure shapes diamonds, trials strengthen the soul. Every struggle, every setback, and every unanswered prayer is not proof that we are forgotten, but evidence that we are being prepared for something greater. Many believe that if God is with them, their path, many of the greatest achievements in history came from those who refused to give up, even when everything seemed against them. They endured criticism, rejection, and failure, yet they pressed on. Their strength was not found in an easy path, but in the struggles they overcame. Every hardship they faced was part of their preparation, shaping them into the people they were meant to be. God does not allow trials without purpose. He sees every tear, every struggle, and every effort. He does not measure success by immediate results, but by the perseverance of the heart. To endure is to trust that the pain of today is preparing us for the victories of tomorrow. It is to believe that our struggles are not meaningless, but part of a greater plan. Those who endure will find that in the end, their suffering was not in vain. For endurance is the pathway to strength, wisdom, and a deeper faith that cannot be shaken. God often works in hidden ways, beyond what our eyes can see and our minds can comprehend. Human nature seeks immediate evidence of progress, tangible proof that our efforts are leading somewhere. When we work hard, we want to see results. When we pray, we want immediate answers. But God's ways are higher than ours, and His plans unfold in ways that are often unseen, only becoming clear in hindsight. The greatest works of God often begin in silence, beneath the surface, where they are not immediately visible. A seed planted in the ground does not sprout instantly. Days, weeks, or even months may pass before it breaks through the soil. Yet during that time, something is happening beneath the surface. Roots are forming, strength is being developed, and the foundation is being laid for what will eventually grow. If one were to judge by what is seen, it would appear that nothing is happening. But in reality, everything necessary for growth is taking place out of sight. In the same way, God's work in our lives often goes unnoticed at first. When prayers seem unanswered, when progress feels slow, when doors remain closed, it is tempting to assume that nothing is happening. But just as a builder lays a foundation before constructing a house, God prepares what is necessary before revealing His plan. He works in the hearts of people in circumstances beyond our understanding, aligning events in ways we cannot yet see. What seems like silence is not inaction, it is preparation. Consider the lives of those who made a difference in history. Many of them endured long periods of waiting, struggle, and apparent stagnation before their purpose became clear. They faced rejection, uncertainty, and setbacks. Yet all the while, God was working behind the scenes, shaping them for what was to come. Had they given up during the waiting period, they would have never seen the fulfillment of their purpose. The greatest victories are often preceded by the longest seasons of preparation. Faith is trusting that even when we do not see results, God is at work. Just because we do not perceive movement does not mean progress is not happening. His timing is not ours, and His methods are often beyond our understanding. What we see as delay, He sees as preparation. What we see as silence, He sees as the quiet work of refining, strengthening, and aligning everything according to His will. When we understand that God works in hidden ways, we can learn to trust Him even in seasons of uncertainty. We no longer measure progress only by what is visible, but by the confidence that He is faithful. The answers we seek may not come in the way we expect, but they will come in the way that is best. What is planted in faith will one day bear fruit, and when the time is right, what was once hidden will be revealed in ways more beautiful than we could have ever imagined. There is a tendency in human nature to equate victory with immediate results, as if the proof of success must always be seen in the present moment. Yet true victory often comes long after the battle has been fought. It is not always found in grand celebrations or visible rewards, but in the quiet fulfillment of knowing that what was done in faith and righteousness was not in vain. When we trust in God's justice, we begin to see that no effort for good is ever wasted, even if its impact is not immediately visible. Injustice often seems to thrive in the world. The wicked prosper, the deceitful rise to power, and the righteous suffer setbacks. This can create a sense of frustration, as if good efforts are meaningless in the face of corruption. But history reveals that injustice never stands forever. Empires built on cruelty collapse, lies are exposed, and those who once seemed untouchable eventually fall. The justice of God is not dictated by human timelines. While people seek instant retribution, God's justice unfolds in His perfect time, ensuring that every act of faithfulness is counted and every wrongdoing is addressed. One of the greatest challenges of faith is continuing to do what is right when results are unseen. It is easy to feel discouraged when efforts go unrecognized or when the wicked seem to prevail. But faith is not about seeing immediate rewards. It is about trusting that God is always at work. Every act of kindness, every moment of integrity, and every sacrifice made for the sake of truth has eternal significance. Even if the world does not acknowledge it, God does. History is filled with those who stood for righteousness without seeing the full impact of their actions in their lifetime. Many of them were ridiculed, rejected, or even persecuted. Yet their influence lived on, shaping generations long after they were gone. Their faithfulness was not wasted, because true victory is not measured by what is seen today, but by the lasting effect of a life lived in truth. When one stands for righteousness, they align themselves with something eternal, something that will endure long after worldly successes have faded. God's justice does not fail. Though it may seem delayed, it is always certain. The one who walks in faith, trusting in what is unseen, will find that their efforts were never in vain. They may not always see the reward immediately, but they can be assured that nothing done in truth is ever lost. The seed sown today will bear fruit in its appointed time, and the labor given in faith will be rewarded in ways far greater than imagined. In the end, victory is not merely in achieving goals or gaining recognition. It is in knowing that one remained steadfast in faith, that one chose righteousness over ease, and that one trusted in the unseen hand of God. True success is not found in the applause of the world, but in the quiet assurance that what was done in faith will stand forever. Victory is not always immediate, nor is it always visible. The world may define success by quick results, wealth, or recognition, but true triumph is found in endurance, faith, and unwavering trust in God's justice. The struggles you face, the hardships you endure, and the battles you fight in righteousness are not meaningless. Every effort made in truth, every sacrifice for what is right, and every step taken in faith is seen by God. Even when answers seem delayed, even when progress is unseen, He is working behind the scenes, shaping, refining, and preparing you for something greater. The greatest victories often come after seasons of silence, waiting, and perseverance. God does not measure success as the world does. He sees the depth of your faith, the strength of your endurance, and the purity of your heart. Stand firm, trust the process, and know that no good effort is ever wasted. The reward may not always come in the way you expect, but it will come in the way that is best. Hold on to faith, because in the end, those who trust in Him never walk in vain. As you continue your journey, may you find strength in knowing that your efforts are not overlooked, your struggles are not forgotten, and your faith is not in vain. Keep moving forward, even when the road is uncertain. Trust that God's plan is greater than any challenge you face. Your victory is already written. It is only a matter of time before it unfolds. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on these words. May they encourage you, strengthen your faith, and remind you that you are never alone in your journey. Keep believing, keep striving, and may you walk with the confidence that God is always watching over you. Best of luck, and may your path be filled with His guidance and grace.